In this video, we'll explore the legend of Merlin the Wizard, his mystical role in Arthurian lore, and his possible metaphorical connection to the human body's hidden energy. We'll uncover historical, etymological, and symbolic clues that may reveal some deeper, profound meanings, possibly linking the Celtic magician to the Kundalini awakening of the Vedic Brahmins and the secret energetic teachings of the Taoist masters. Our understanding of Merlin as the Great Wizard primarily comes from Geoffrey of Monmouth, a 12th century British cleric and a key figure in the preservation of the Arthurian legend. His works, the Prophetiae, Merlini and Historia Regum Britanniae, recount Merlin's life and his profound connection to the legendary King Arthur. Merlin is said to be a prophet, magician and strategist whose influence shaped Britain's destiny. With supernatural foresight, he orchestrated Arthur's birth, devised the test of the sword in the stone, and guided the creation of the Knights of the Round Table. Legends speak of his shape-shifting abilities and powerful enchantments, yet his story ends in mystery, trapped by Nimue, the Lady of the Lake. Merlin plays a vital role in King Arthur's destiny, using magic and intrigue to ensure the foretold hero's birth at Tintagel Castle in Britain's West Country. From the physiological viewpoint, this magical birth may symbolise an energetic rebirth, the awakening of the human nervous system to its full potential. Merlin himself was said to have been born under similarly mysterious circumstances, reinforcing his connection to the somatic mysteries and the path of initiation. The wizard's role in Arthur's lifting of the sword from the stone can also be interpreted through an energetic and physiological lens, with the sword symbolising the spinal column and the stone representing the sacrum, the sacred bone of Western esoteric teachings. Please see my videos on the miracle birth and the sacred sacrum for more details on these important but little known energetic practices. Medieval sources, particularly Robert de Boron, describe Merlin's conception as a magical event rather than a conventional union. His pious mother is said to be visited by a spiritual entity, granting the child wisdom, prophecy and magic from birth. This mirrors various ancient traditions where a supernatural intelligence arises through divine intervention, most notably for this account seen in the legend of the Welsh poet-prophet Taliesin, whose mystical rebirth and transformation bestowed him with the gifts of foresight and innate wisdom. Interestingly, the whole island of Great Britain is referred to as Clas Myrddin, or Merlin's enclosure, in the third series of the Welsh triads, medieval Welsh texts that likely preserved far older oral traditions. The legendary figure of Myrddin, another Welsh bard and prophet, is widely believed to have inspired Geoffrey of Monmouth's creation of Merlin in the 12th century. Myrddin's story, much like that of Taliesin, has deep roots in the oral tradition of Wales, no doubt predating its earliest known written records from the 10th century. His prophetic role, connection to King Arthur's era, and mystical attributes made him a prime candidate for adaptation into the Arthurian legend. The very name Merlin may well have originated from the Welsh title of Myrddin, Latinised by Geoffrey of Monmouth into Merlinus Ambrosius in his 12th century works. Merlin's character appears to be a blend of earlier figures: Myrddin Wilt, the prophetic wild man of Welsh tradition, and Ambrosius Aurelianus, a renowned 5th century Romano-British leader. The original Myrddin legend portrays him as an eccentric prophet dwelling in the Caledonian forest. Geoffrey of Monmouth likely merged these influences to shape the Merlinus Ambrosius we recognise today. Myrddin Wilt may also be connected to the Scottish figure Lailoken, another Celtic eccentric, ascetic and so-called wild man who lived close to nature. The term wilt translates to wild and, as said, relates to the idea of a wild man or someone who has retreated from civilization and society. This has commonly been portrayed in a negative, derogatory sense. However, when we look at the lives of many saints, holy men and prophets, they invariably seek out seclusion and isolation in the wilds in order to make a better connection to nature and the natural energies, both within and outside of the body. The Welsh word gwydd highlights this connection beautifully, relating to the ideas of both wilderness or wildness and wisdom, philosophy and science. Some scholars propose a link between Myrddin's name and Caerfyrddin, modern-day Carmarthen. The Welsh name Myrddin is often translated as sea fort or sea defender, with myr or myr meaning sea and ddin or din referring to a fortified city. This etymological connection supports Merlin's association with the Welsh coastal county, where Caer Myrddin, Carmarthen or Merlin's castle may have originated. I must say I like this interpretation a lot, and I could add to it greatly. That said, for this particular video, I would like to draw some attention to another possible translation of the name Myrddin or Merlin, and that is the possible compound word Myrddin. This interpretation is significant as it connects to energy, regeneration and nurturing, all deeply tied to the human body, making it a fitting blend for the magician of Arthurian legend. The Welsh word Myr means to govern, oversee or care for, and perhaps the influencing factor for the English term mare. Its root, my, has connotations of generation, nourishment, nurturing and nursing. The prefix mag or magai or magi, which is undoubtedly connected, translates directly to the act of generation or magic. The term din or thin means man, the body or humanity, as well as relating to a fortress or walled city, as we can see with the Welsh word dinas. This wonderful correlation, in my view, represents the self-governance and self-mastery of the human body, mind and spirit, and, of course, its true magical potential. In this way, Merlin, or Myrddin, the legendary magician, can be closely linked to the ancient ascetic traditions. from Hindu Brahmins and Tantric Buddhists to Greek seers and Taoist sages, thus highlighting and furthering the wisdom of the old ways. This reveals a profound ancient link to the art of energy work, and for good reason. When we harness and refine our personal energy, we become like magicians, mastering the wisdom of our own bodies. Through this internal wizardry, we regenerate, renew, and revitalize the body, mind, and spirit, as if by magic. The title, Merlinus Ambrosius, warrants closer inspection at this stage. Ambrosius, from the Latin Ambrosius and the Greek Ambrosios, means divine or immortal. It connects to ambrosia, the fabled food of the gods, said to grant immortality to those daring enough to access and consume it. Like the Vedic Amrita, the Norse mead of poetry, and the Taoist elixir of life, this golden nectar has been a timeless pursuit for initiates, seekers, and students of the ancient wisdom. This wonderful connection strengthens the allegory of Merlin, reinforcing the idea that the wizard embodies the ancient art of energy work, its transformative potential, benefits, and inherent dangers. When the creative energy, the sexual energy, is conserved and circulated correctly, a breakthrough can occur at the head centre. This intense energetic stimulation is what is said to open the metaphorical inner eye, the interthalamic adhesion. This awakening precedes a cascade of beneficial and empowering hormones and secretions, substances that can enhance and transform or drive mad and destroy, just as the allegory of Merlin suggests. This internal elixir, rooted in ancient practices like yoga, qigong, and meditation, arises from personal generative magic, while remaining grounded in science. A successful awakening supports the regeneration of organs, cells, and the nervous system, revitalizing the body and even unlocking subtle psychic superpowers, also known as the Vedic siddhis. Please see my videos on Amrita and the cribriform plate, and the Bindu chakra and the Kundalini for a more detailed description of this wonderful concept. The reason so many of our tales and eccentric traditions have remained so popular over time is that they capture and hold the principles and practices that have run so deep within all of humanity. The principles and attainments of renewal, rebirth, rejuvenation, personal magic, and regeneration through self-awareness, self-mastery, devotion, and perseverance. One final translation worth noting, especially for the keen and curious mind, is the Welsh term Myrddin, meaning the ruins of an old house. Symbolically, this old house may represent lineage, tradition, and the wisdom passed down through generations. A once thriving culture, now in ruins, awaiting renewal when the time is right. To further the allegory, we can see that a house has long served as a metaphor for the human body, just as a temple embodies both worship and the divine presence within the human body. In this interpretation, Myrddin or Merlin is a once lost magical tradition, the tradition of the human body and its true energetic potential. A tradition in the same vein as the other great prophets, holy men, saints and magicians. These mysterious and world-changing figures were and are the upholders of a beautiful and ancient custom of principles and practices, saviours of a vital and transformative heritage, rescued and safeguarded in the allegories and metaphors of our shared mythologies, legends and fairy tales. This ancient and transformative practice may have been left in ruins, but it is still with us, and its potential to regenerate and revolutionise is perhaps more potent now than ever before.